my mom had just gone through cancer, and now I have to call her and tell her that I have cancer.
I literally lost my mind for a minute or two. I was devastated because I knew now that you were part of a group where you were never going to be the same person you were 24 hours before that. I had stage 3 colorectal cancer. I had a large tumor, and they took that out with surgery. And then I was given choices to do 6 rounds of chemo or 12. I did 12 rounds. Whew, that was rough. That was a tough time for me. I focused wholeheartedly of getting through that first year. I put a lot of pressure on the first year of getting out and maintaining the no evidence of disease, getting back to running and self-care. And I had people tell me that I was never going to be the same after chemo. Well, I'm here to tell you I am quite the same physically as I was before. I had focused so much on the first year that after I got through the first year, I kind of felt like I don't really know what to do with myself now. Because as you progress out of it, it's still there, but there's some days I don't think about it at all. And then there's other days I'm consumed in it. Like, how did this happen to me? What, my life is not the same financially. So that's been a big hit. And I don't think enough people talk about what happens after the aftermath of the destruction. What I have been thinking about, honestly, is while I was going through this, I was in a cancer support group, and they were phenomenal. It's a fantastic community. After I went into no evidence of disease, I didn't feel like I fit in with them anymore, but I was so connected with them. You bond, unfortunately, with people. It's a group you never want to belong to, but it cuts deep in those meetings. And when you come into those meetings, you realize that some of those people aren't there anymore because they've passed on. So I found myself in a really weird, like I didn't belong with them, but I still wanted to stay with them. And then it was brought up to me that I could go into the survivorship part of cancer, which is the guilt that comes with that. I know a lot of people, everybody that has cancer that survives it has the guilt. I've lost people to cancer battles in the last year, and that has selfishly rocked me a little bit because it doesn't make sense as to why I've made it through and they didn't. Because with stage 3, I literally could go either way. And to get people to understand that, like, I could stay in stage 3 for a very long time. I could shift in to it reoccurring.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And finding support and finding community means many different things to many different people, especially when you have cancer. Some of us do join support groups, some of us share our stories online, some of us don't share at all, and we just keep it in our inner circle.
Right.
Every way is the right way. When you shift into survivorship, that is difficult because for some people, and something for me at least, is the cancer part was hard, but this part's been harder. After I got radioactive iodine treatment in September,
Mm.
it's been the after. Since September, it's been harder than those first 6 to 7 months. When I was diagnosed, was you were the first person I called, the first person Justin and I called when we found out that I had thyroid cancer. How I describe it is my mom had just gone through cancer, and now I have to call her and tell her that I have cancer.
I'm crying again.
And so I want to hear from your perspective when you got that phone call from me. Like, take me through that.
First of all, I was in disbelief that it was happening. Like, how is it okay for you to be diagnosed in the best part of your life? Like, you just turned 30 and you're doing all of the things and you advocated for yourself, but nobody would listen. That phone call was extremely difficult for me. I felt helpless. Like, cancer is something you cannot control. Like, it's going to do whatever it's going to do, and it's going to take whoever it's going to take. And it does not matter. It is ruthless. And knowing your child was getting ready to embark on her own journey and not knowing what that looked like when the phone call came in, I literally lost my mind for a minute or two. then I zone back into being the mom and what can we do? How are we going to tackle this? You also have a lot of strength from me, I hope. And you were like, okay, this is going to hurt and it's going to take me a minute, but you're going to get through it. And so in that moment, there were so many emotions in that phone call. I was devastated because I knew now that you were part of a group where you were never going to be the same person you were 24 hours before that. I was grieving. The word is grieving. I was grieving for you. I was grieving for myself. And what I've learned about grief is it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of ups and downs. And man, I am and will forever be sad for you to be a part of this club.
You said it like I didn't deserve it. No one deserves cancer. No one deserves this. And it sucks. Like, let's be honest, it just sucks to be in the cancer club.
I agree with that 100%. It's the after. And that is what I think people miss, is what's happening after. Everybody that was around isn't as around as much. People aren't checking in, people have moved on, but you're still in it. And that is difficult. Maybe that will come. I will think about doing the survivor part of the cancer groups. And also I have to continue with getting blood work and there's not a normal sick anymore. After cancer, I don't feel like there's a normal sick anymore for people who have been diagnosed.
So how do you go through those moments of having a cold, having a cough, having a pain, having those feelings, and not just your mind straight going to, oh, the cancer's back?
Oh God. Okay.
I think my mind goes to it more than yours does. Like, you'll tell me what you're feeling and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
No. Oh
yeah,
no.
That's it for sure.
She had a new nodule pop up in a recent scan. And so that prompted me to have anxiety. Why is a new one popping up? And so I was telling you, Mom, to go to your oncologist, make sure that you are getting the correct testing. And you ended up getting, now you're doing a regular test. Tell us about that.
Now I am doing a regular. I had to push for this though. That's the thing, because you were advocating for me. I was very, I'm a middle of the road girl. I will normally do the right thing when it comes to my health, but I'm also like, nah, I think I'm good. So you pushed a little bit, and then I pushed my oncologist back because I went in my scan. The new nodule popped up on my scan and I'd been having side pain for months. Okay, I wouldn't say months. Maybe I was at a 6-week mark where it's just constantly there like a toothache. And then the new nodule pops up. And then I had a couple things on my blood work that were a little high or a little low. And I'm like a detective. Like, I'm looking at all the things, and my oncologist was not concerned. So I did push for the PET scan. They will not give me one. They do not think what's going on with my lungs. It's a wait and see. Well, when you tell somebody who has cancer that we're in a wait and see, I didn't like that at all. Now they have agreed to do a Signatera test.
It's just this gray zone is how I describe it. You're just kind of like sitting there and you're still trying to live your life, but it's really hard to do so when you are in those gray periods.
I'm taking it day by day, but I'm also trying to do some planning for the future, which is fun for me, because for 2 years I hadn't really done that. And financially, I'm taking some steps forward too to get my finances back in order. And yeah, I'm peeling back some layers, as my therapist would say. She's peeling back some layers. I'm getting back to being who I am, and that is spunky and feisty and spontaneous and so cool.
And you are all of those things. She might have just been hiding for a little bit, but she's back. I will say that this is a really important topic of you are essentially doing this quotes alone.
Don't make me cry. I'm doing this alone. Yeah.
Perspective for everybody. I live in Spokane, Washington. My brother lives in Omaha, Nebraska, and my sister lives in Texas. So we are thousands of miles away from our mom. And it'll make me emotional too. That has been one of the hardest parts of this whole thing. Her diagnosis, my diagnosis, but it's never been a new thing for us. You always taught us, Mom, to chase our dreams and to get out of the small town. We all literally did that.
I launched you guys. I didn't just launch you, I've catapulted you guys across the way. I knew that I raised you guys to go and to be the best humans. But with that being said, I didn't think about what it was going to look like after you guys did leave the nest. Of course, like traveling and doing all those things, we all love that. But with the cancer diagnosis, it hits different with having you guys so far away. It's sad, but it is the reality of my situation. I'm not close with my family. You guys are gone, and my friends have kind of stepped in to be that way for me. But at the end of the day, I am alone. And for anybody out there going through any of life's things other than cancer and just life being life after 50, I don't know, in your 30s, but when you're alone, it's disheartening. But I'm also super proud of myself for doing it and doing it with some grace. I will lose myself sometimes in the rabbit hole of being alone and doing cancer and you and all the things, but I have steadied myself with accepting being alone.
I think this has also put an interesting dynamic between the two of us as well, because you wanted to be here every step and second of the way of my diagnosis. And I was so grateful for that. But I have a husband, I have a partner.
You flipped things on me a little bit because I did my cancer treatment and diagnosis exactly the way that I wanted it. And you have done the same thing. So me trying to infiltrate your circle and just fly out there and come out there. I said this to you the other day. I don't really like my kids telling me what to do. And you're like,
that's too damn bad.
Yeah, you were like, well, how do you think it feels? Like, haha, now we're back at you. But I respect that. I respect that. I respect your choices on how you've done it. And I'm not catching the next flight out, but I'll be there soon.
How have you had to put up boundaries for yourself, for your mental mindset, and while also being there for those who have been told they have cancer as well? Because it's hard.
Hard is an understatement. Boundaries, love that word. It's when you find out that you have cancer, whether you're in it still or you're no evidence of disease or your friends are being diagnosed with cancer, everybody has an opinion about what they should and shouldn't do. So you graciously have to remind people that what they would do in their circumstances may be different than what you would do. Your treatments may look different. You do not know which direction you're going to go. You have no idea until you actually have someone say to you, it's 100% cancer. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe I should do chemo. Maybe I should do radiation. Maybe I should not do anything at all. Maybe. So I have a amazing group of friends, but we are all so different. You have to respect people's thoughts and feelings. And with that, that's where you put up the boundaries. And I'm pretty good at putting those up for the most part. Like, that's not going to work for me. Keep your opinions to yourself, respectfully. Coming out of the financial debacle that happened, because backstory, I didn't have insurance at the time of my diagnosis because I was self-employed and I never got on board with whatever was out there for me to choose a plan. I was like, I'm good. Nothing's ever going to happen to me. And then it did. So I was facing a $35,000 surgery, or you weren't getting it. And I was 8 days out. So that flipped things for me. I'm grateful for the job that I have now. I've kind of found my niche, but it boxed me in financially. It boxed me in. And my 2-year plan post-cancer that I was so excited about has now become a financial 5-year plan.
When you look at colorectal cancer and you look at the many, many people that unfortunately continue to be diagnosed, people who have lost their lives to colorectal cancer, recently James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. When you think about colorectal cancer awareness, what do you want people to know, and what does awareness mean to you?
Awareness to me looks like Have you gotten your colonoscopy yet? Have you gotten your colonoscopy yet? Where are you at in your life with your colonoscopy? I talk about it. I talk about it all the time. Sometimes I think I talk about it too much. But if it changes just one person, and I know that it has because somebody had gotten a colonoscopy after my diagnosis and they caught some things early, then I did what I needed to, wanted to do.
When you reflect on the last 2 years, what you've been through, what I've been through, what your friends have been through, just life.
Yeah.
What are your reflections of these last 2 years?
I'm grateful. I'm honestly grateful, and I'm humbled. I'm also not invincible. You know, I had that mentality that nothing was going to happen to me other than the normal happenings. I'm truly grateful to have the friendships and the family. And honestly, I'm grateful that cancer kind of stopped me in my tracks and slowed me down a little bit. That was, you know, God's way of saying some things needed to change in my life. And I am fully aware of that now. And it's made me, the little things, I'm telling you, I stop on the side of the road and take pictures of the sunrise. And when I'm running in the morning, whether it's early in the morning or it's the afternoon or it's at night, I am eternally grateful for having one more day, because some people didn't get that day, and I don't ever want to dishonor their memories, ever.